I'm joined now by Willem-Mark Nabarro. He's head of European equities at Exane BNP Paribas. He joins us from Singapore. Good to see you. So I wonder, Willem, if you agree with Paul Donovan, who says that the G8 is a giant waste of time. Is it irrelevant from the standpoint of the markets?
Well, I don't think it's irrelevant, to be honest with you. There is always something which is being decided over there. We may not see it directly, it may not come directly out of it as well, because of course a lot of the leaders have got different agendas as well. But there is always something being organized and something being decided which may have an effect and which we will see normally later on coming through.
What is your reaction to Jean-Claude Juncker's statement that the IMF may not be able to release its next tranche of aid to Greece? How do you see the whole situation playing out here? Is default going to happen?
Well, if I have to believe the market, or if we have to believe the markets, Greece is already defaulting for the last, I think, what is it, 1 year and a half, and it still hasn't happened. To be honest with you, it's very, very difficult to see Greece defaulting. We have heard about haircuts as well. We have heard all those stories. We have heard the stories also about Portugal defaulting. We have heard the stories about Ireland defaulting, Spain defaulting. It's very, very difficult to see. There will remain a lot of volatility in the markets because effectively nobody really knows what is happening. Everybody is having his own agenda at this moment, like mentioned in the interview just before. But at the end, everybody knows that it is of nobody's interest if Greece is going to default, or Portugal, or an Ireland, or any of the other European countries. So we do not really foresee Greece or any of the countries defaulting.
You don't see them defaulting?
No.
Okay. How do you play this in the market then? Because, as you say, there's a real lack of visibility, and you get different European officials saying different things every day. There's a big political risk that the market's having to try to price in. What are you advising your clients to do over the next few months while this thing plays out?
Well, there's an old saying which says in the equity markets, sell in May and go away and come back in October. That's normally what works out very, very well. So that's also why we're saying equity markets, especially European equity markets, we do not foresee that they're going to rally over the summer. That will be a big surprise. We will probably be trading sideways in the European equity markets. However, if we see overreactions, of course, there are definitely opportunities to get into some very interesting sectors and names as well. And that's also why we're saying for people who have to remain in the equity market, it's maybe a good idea to look more at the defensive sectors than especially in the cyclical sectors. So defensive is probably a better play, especially over the summer for the next few months to have your investments in.
And the main driver for the markets over the coming months, is that going to be the European debt crisis? Are investors going to start being concerned about a soft patch in the U.S.? What's the main thrust going to be here?
Well, effectively the European debt crisis, we will continue to hear about this, that's for sure, because we have been hearing about it for the last few months, as I mentioned before. We will probably hear also if effectively another, say, rating agency comes up with something about the U.S. We will hear about the possibilities of, say a rate cut or a credit rate cut in the U.S. We'll probably hear about that one as well. Japan, well, that will be something there as well. There will be a lot of stories about all those different countries, different continents, which will be driving the markets in the short term and which will add volatility to effectively the markets in the short term. However, again, if we look longer out, with overreactions, we will definitely see very, very good opportunities in some of the sectors and some of the very steady and good names you can find in Europe. Some of the names which come to mind, for example, are in the satellite operators, companies like SES or Eutelsat. If you look at infrastructure, companies like Eiffage will definitely come to mind as well. If you look at the oil and gas sector, Royal Dutch would definitely be a name we'll be looking at, or Repsol is also definitely a name we will be looking at as well. Also in beverages, although soft commodities, of course, everybody knows what is happening there. Heineken is definitely a name I would be looking at as well.
All right, Willem-Mark Nabarro of Exane BNP Paribas, thanks for sharing your top picks there.